Hey everybody, I just got out of the theater from seeing The Unbreakable Boy, which dropped in theaters this weekend, opening weekend, and before I go into like my review of this film, I just want to point out the fact that I was the only one in the auditorium. I very rarely go see movies by myself, and when I do, there's typically at least like one or two or even three people sitting in the theater with me. That was not the case. I was in the theater completely by myself. I don't think this movie is going to break any box office records. I don't think people are going like scrambling to see this film. I really took my time even just to get to the theater because I knew it probably wasn't going to be that big of a deal. So, The Unbreakable Boy, for any of you who don't know, it's a movie about a dad who is struggling to raise his kid who has autism and a brittle bone disease. And the trailers, I'm just going to tell you now, the trailers are deceptive. They are a little bit manipulative. The trailers will have you think going into the movie that this is about a kid on the autism spectrum. It's not. It's not about the kid on the autism spectrum. It's about his dad, played by Zachary Levi, who's a good actor. And he turns in a pretty good performance in this movie. I don't think that he is a bad actor by any stretch. Just about everybody in this movie does a good job, even the autistic kid, Austin. And the funny thing is, if this movie didn't have a kid on the autism spectrum, I wouldn't have gone and seen this. This wouldn't have even been on the radar for me. But I went to go see this because I wanted to do a review and a discussion about it on my podcast, The Pancake King: Life and Marriage on the Spectrum. And I like doing movie reviews for this channel now. So this was an opportunity for me to see this movie and see what Hollywood is trying to do to represent people on the autism spectrum. And I'm going to be honest with you, this movie puts in so little effort to really represent autism in a way that feels layered and nuanced, and a way that really shows what it is and how people, like, what people on the spectrum are like. It takes some of the most basic elements that we know. Basically, it feels like the director of the film or the writers Googled autism and jotted down the first notes that they found, like the AI overview at the top. When you do a Google search, they do those AI overviews now at the top. Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like they wrote down a few notes from the AI overview at the top, and that's their understanding of autism. There are a few little things that the kid does that I liked. I liked how, well, first of all, I think this kid, Austin, I would probably get along with him pretty well. He likes some of the same things that I really like. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Star Wars and SpongeBob, the same things as Austin is obsessed with. I also appreciate the fact that he is a fellow movie collector, loves collecting movies, and will constantly kind of change how he arranges them and organizes them. As someone who's almost 30, I still do this, and I love collecting movies. So I appreciated that. There's also a nice little moment in the movie when Austin is following his dad around, talking to him about how he likes to arrange and organize his movies. And then, his dad is like, dude, I had to go to the bathroom. Okay. Like, let's talk later. And as soon as his dad leaves, Austin moves from that room straight to the next room and starts talking to his mom about all of the same things that he was talking to his dad about. That makes sense. People on the autism spectrum, particularly children on the autism spectrum, love talking to people who will listen. Like they have so much on their minds that they love to that they want to like get out to other people. They want other people to listen. They appreciate that. So I liked that aspect. It was a little bit weird when one of the school bullies basically triggers Austin into quoting, from a movie, that Tom Cruise movie from the 90s. I'll be honest, I'm uncultured in that aspect. It's the movie that has that line, "You can't handle the truth." don't remember the name off the top of my head, and I'm the movie buff here. But he starts quoting the movie to Austin, and then Austin, picks up from there and just keeps quoting and quoting and quoting. It's like he was triggered into doing it. And when the school teacher is like leading him out of the room, he's still doing it. Maybe there are kids on the spectrum that do this. If there are, and one, or you're a parent of one, comment below, let me know about that, because I just honestly thought that was a bit, it just felt kind of off. Autistic people are not really people who get necessarily triggered in that way. They're not machines where you just flip a switch and then they start talking on and on and on, without having the ability to stop. It doesn't really work that way. And the thing that I did not like about this movie, or disliked about this movie the most, is that, once again, like I said earlier, the trailer made you think that this movie was going to be about Austin, the autistic kid. It's not. He's like in maybe 25% of this movie. He's in this movie so little. And Zachary Levi, who plays the dad, Scott, it takes up so much of this movie, and this movie is about his journey trying to be a good father and a good husband. But even that just feels it's just kind of unengaging. It's not interesting. It's boring even at times. And everything, all of the problems that they face in the movie kind of just end up working themselves out by the end. No one really has to do anything, to overcome the problems that they're facing. Scott goes to AA at one point because he has a little bit of he has a bit of an alcoholic problem, which is barely touched on until one point in the movie when him being drunk causes a serious problem that's, dangerous not just for himself but also his kids. But before that, that part of him was touched on so little that it just kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. And so I thought that was a little bit weird. But again, nothing really engaging about this movie. Nothing really that makes it stick out. I don't even like movies like these sorts of movies about families, overcoming obstacles, and it's supposed to be like an emotional tearjerker and stuff like that. This movie didn't really make me cry. It didn't make me sad. It didn't pull at my heartstrings or anything like that. I thought the kid who played Austin was really good. And again, I probably would have gone along with him with everything that we have in common. He was charming. He was sweet. He was never overbearing or annoying, which I really, really appreciated. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say. This movie was kind of just a giant nothing burger. I don't really recommend it to anybody. If you want to catch it on streaming when it comes on streaming, be my guest. There are worse ways to spend your time. I've seen worse movies, even in just the last several months, like Night Bitch and We Live in Time. I thought those movies were just awful, atrocious, and a huge, massive waste of my time. I at least didn't feel like my time was being wasted here, but there was nothing special or unique. I really, really hope in the future, if Hollywood wants to make movies about people on the autism spectrum, please hire writers who are actually on the autism spectrum and can, write from personal experience. I'm getting so tired of these Hollywood movies that are being made, written by writers who are saying, "Oh, I interviewed a couple of people and read some stories online, so I think I know a little bit about it now." It's like, no, please, can we please have some people in Hollywood who are on the spectrum who can write from personal experience? So anyway, there's a lot more that I will discuss in my more in-depth review and discussion of this film on my podcast, The Pancake King, Life and Marriage on the Spectrum. Go check out my YouTube channel, The Pancake King Autism Podcast, where you will see that in-depth review and discussion get posted next week. And yeah, not a recommend. kind of like Captain America Brave New World last week. In 2 weeks, I will be seeing Mickey 17, and I'm really excited for that movie. I'm hoping to have a great time out of it. I'm a huge fan of the director, who's made movies like Snowpiercer and Parasite, both of which are great. And so I will see you in the review for that movie. And yeah, not a recommend. Save your money. See you guys next time.